Hello, welcome to R&G at the Crossroad. This is G.A. Cross. I'm your co-host.
And I'm your other co-host, Roosevelt. We'd like thank you for joining our program. We've been gone for a couple of weeks, doing the vacation thing, but now we're back, and we got some topics that we want to talk about moving forward. But my co-host decided that he wanted to talk about a subject that I absolutely agree with him about ego. How does our ego affect us?
Absolutely. And a lot of times, anytime there's any reference to ego, 9 times out of 10, it's in a negative form. A lot says, oh man, it's your ego that's doing this, or your ego's doing that, or too much of that, or too much of this. But we're going to make some reference points so we can bring a little bit more understanding, shine the light on just actually what ego is, healthy ego versus an unhealthy ego.
Absolutely.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So,
So
no, go ahead.
No, I mean, because like I sharing you, during our pre-production, when you gave me the topic, I was like, I automatically, I was okay with it, but I seen it as a negative until I did a freaking word search on the ego, and this is what I came up with, Gerald.
Uh-huh.
The definition of an ego is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance or their self-worth.
Mm.
And I'm sure you might have been, well, I know, let me talk about me. I've been called an arrogant son of a bitch many times in my life. I don't live my life to hurt anybody. I don't live my life to crap on nobody. People will have their reference about me, and it's usually women, based on how I lived with them or lived in a relationship or dealt with a relationship with them. So when I seen that, I'm like, because immediately I thought it was negative.
Well,
and it's not.
For most points, people perceive it as being a negative, but you got to understand, like I heard you mention the women. The thing is, far as women are concerned, a healthy ego, a woman is drawn to. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, because it has to do with how that man views himself in a positive manner and believes in himself to have high potential.
As he should.
And you see, absolutely. And he does see him, he has a good reflection of his mind of how he sees himself, which means that he reflects that. So she's going to be drawn to that because by him having that high self-esteem, it's going to bring out a high level of confidence. And a lot of times it's that confidence that man has in himself is what that woman can be drawn to.
Absolutely. And so, the further I delved into it, and I'm going to spit this out, I came up with my own definitions. Okay, this is not scientifically proven. There's something that while I was researching about how we're going to have this discussion about ego, this is what I came up with. I came up with there's an ignorant ego, a responsible ego, and an inherent ego. And now when I say these three things, there's that perceived attachment from the outside looking in, right? Which becomes arrogance, right? So ignorant ego, to me, there's no science behind this. It's like somebody that grows up without a father, without somebody to mentor them, because we're all going to emulate somebody. No matter who you are, you're going to emulate somebody and you're growing up. You're going to be like, you're going to want to be like somebody, right? So an ignorant ego could be like, hey man, I'm gonna get on the streets and sell drugs. people are going to look at you however they're going to look at you. And like I
Yeah.
said,
And
I'm a
that and you and see in that regard, it's even more so it boils down to a choice as to
Mhm,
what outcomes that you want. Some
mhm.
people, if they choose a drug game, then they're looking to shortcut it. So a lot of times, if it's an ego thing in that regard, that means they kind of see themselves as wanting to shine. They kind of want the things that the fast
Fast
money is going to
money.
give them. So it's
Right.
going to have them to shine.
Right.
So I think that kind of ties it in to the ego. Like you
Yeah.
kind of want to look good. You want to,
Yeah.
have the cars, you want to have the women, you want to have the different kind
Mhm,
of things, and you want to do it in a hurry. So,
mhm.
mhm.
Now the responsible ego is that person that grew up with guidance, direction. Somebody's pouring into them that gives them some self-worth, some self-value. They're still going to be called arrogant by somebody,
Yeah, they
but
can be.
they
Mhm.
get it. They get it. So they go on about their life, irregardless, not caring about what other people think. And you that's just life. You got to be that way in life. You can't give a crap about what other people think. you know. So in the third one, the inherent ego is like, your dad was Tony Dorsett. Your dad was Denzel Washington. Your dad was somebody that came from nothing to make something, or even they came from something. It becomes inherited. And I think that can fall into the other two, depending on how you live your life. It can become ignorant or it can become responsible.
I think that's very correct. I mean, in that regard, like I said, it goes back to some episodes we've had before. It goes back to that choice.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that we bring along and the things that we learn where we live, as they would say. My mother would always say that. She's saying we basically assimilate the people that are around us and we
Right.
assimilate that
Yeah.
behavior. So that I do believe that. I believe we learn where we live. And a
Yeah.
lot of times those initial parameters that are set up for us as we come out. And then at some point that reassurance and that self-love comes from, I think, really comes from moms or just a family member or
Mm-hmm.
any person
Mm-hmm.
that takes special interest in you, and it gives you that self-assurance early that can actually promote that self-love that leads to a healthy ego.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. For sure, man. And that's why, I mean, when you gave me the topic, I'm like, I like that. But I never, ever, and I read, but I
Yeah.
never looked in the dictionary. And one of the things when we do come up with these topics, I'll do a word search.
Yeah.
I'll get the definition, and it just blew me away how simple it really is, because we all got an ego. Every human being has an ego, because it's about
Absolutely.
your self-worth, your self-importance, how you feel about yourself. It's just who are you going to attach that ego to?
You know what? And I think that's too. A lot of times you can really pick up really fast if you're in a room or if you're in a meeting or if you even have a friend that
Mm-hmm.
if they have an unhealthy ego or their ego is just blown out of proportion, you know it pretty much right away because in the conversation you probably ain't gonna be able to get a word in. Number two, if they come to you with a
Yeah.
problem, they're not going to receive any advice and they ain't going to listen to you long enough to get a sentence in to explain to them any type of recommendations.
Yeah.
And the conversation that you have with them is mostly going to be about them
Yeah.
and nobody else. Then,
Yeah.
they're pretty
Yeah.
much the ego is all about them.
Yeah.
They ain't include nobody in that particular world. And that could be unhealthy, you
Yeah.
know. Mhm.
Even in my environment, that I go to 2 days a week, when I see certain people coming, bro, I put up the sign, ain't nobody here. I walk, you know, and I'm good at doing that in my life, period. I even get told that, man, he don't deal with nobody, he don't like nobody. And he's an arrogant son of a gun. And they're saying it to somebody who I am a friend with within my environment, my living environment. Nah, he just don't like fooling with nobody.
Oh, you know what? But sometimes that ego can help you to steer you away from people that are unhealthy for you.
Absolutely.
Because if
Absolutely.
because you can't have too less of an ego going on there, because if not, you're gonna have people that are you're not gonna be in a driver's seat in
Right.
your life.
Right.
And you definitely not gonna have a steering wheel in your life.
Right.
If you have too less of ego, somebody's gonna drive for you all the time.
I agree. I
And,
agree 100%.
and you don't want that.
Yeah.
And in a relationship, if you're dealing with a woman, you can't have too less of an ego either, because it's gonna make you very, very insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not secure with yourself and you don't have a high image of yourself, then you're gonna be insecure.
Yeah.
And that right there is a real it's a real turn off for women.
Yeah.
Real turn off.
It's a
Yeah.
recipe for disaster.
Oh yeah, man. They turn
Even
off,
though
man.
no matter what part she played, because I've been there. I've been there.
Oh yeah, that's a real, and that being insecure is a real attraction killer for a woman. She yeah, it's gonna kill the attraction immediately. So yeah.
So, but yeah, so as I was going through this, and like I said, the ignorant, the responsible, the inherited, I'm like, man, what a great topic, because I've learned a lot just by researching ego.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I'll tell you something else too. We doing the red today.
Right.
And,
So
and
guys
reason why,
know, right?
hey, in the political world, it's establishes a sense of strength and authority.
Yeah.
So that ties into the ego as well.
Right.
Because in the political world, people are drawn to people that are decisive, that are strong, and that also illustrate strong leadership skills.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times in the blue tie, what I read about Ro is the blue tie is more of approachable, kind of like you rule with an iron fist, but don't forget the velvet glove. I think the blue is considered the velvet glove.
Yeah.
So
a beta.
Oh man, don't talk about that. See, you're gonna get something else going on. Yeah, that's from a male. If you going into that alpha beta kind of concept.
Red pill, blue pill, bro.
Yeah. Oh man, you don't go. See, don't do that, man. We ain't doing that on this platform, man. That right there, that platform right there is really rough, right there, man.
You started it.
No. I was going from a political aspect. I wasn't even going into the red pill, blue and purple, and all of that stuff. Now.
Look, I was just wanting it to be psychological.
Yeah. We'll stick with the psychological stuff. We don't want. We're trying to keep it kosher on here in this thing, man. So yeah, man. But yeah, I know there's a lot of platforms out there that deal with relationships and things like that.
And all that good stuff.
Oh yeah. But, some of the folks out there, they're pretty hardcore out there with that stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad to have you back. I'm glad we back. Even though I got some more traveling to do before it's all said and done, where I settle in September. I'm glad that we back, man. I miss us, bringing content, and we're going to be bringing a lot of content. We have a lot of plans. We're going to be bringing a lot of content. So we need you guys to, focus in, plug in, and come on board with RNG at the Crossroad, because we got a lot of things in the funnel.
Absolutely. And remember, our platform is all about how we are making better decisions to have better outcomes. So today was about ego. I wanted to bring this to you and to our audience as well, because like Roosevelt was talking about in the earlier part of this episode, as soon as we hear the word ego, we thinking negative. That's not the case.
It's not the case.
There is a healthy ego and an unhealthy ego.
Absolutely.
And you want to have a high esteem of yourself. So begin to do things that's going to build that high self-esteem. A lot of times on a day-to-day out here, we on this day-to-day grind to try to do better. But don't forget to compliment yourself on the things that you have completed and the things that you are doing well currently. all the while you're working on other things. And that will help you to feel better about yourself. So that way you'll have a higher self-esteem. And then that will have you lead to more confidence. And then you will have better decisions. And,
Absolutely.
and being more confident will make you want to acquire more knowledge that you'll bring more to your decisions. And that will lead to those better outcomes.
Absolutely, man. And one plug I want to put it out there, Gerald, be sure you take a vacation once a year, at least once a year, 7 to 10 days. It's absolutely necessary to get away. If it's you, your family, or you and your family, or it's just you,
Yeah.
take a break. Get away.
You have to, because if you don't, then what's going to happen is you're going to be burned out, and you're going to be less effective
and stuck in the crossroad.
And stuck at the crossroad. You're going to be probably just being mentally exhausted. You're going to you can easily become stagnant to where you become indecisive, and it can be a real drag on you. So yes, I think that's vitally important that we give ourselves a break. If you can't do a vacation, I know, inflation, everything is high right now. So I mean, if you got to do a staycation, find something in your area that you can go to that's relaxing, and you have a good time.
The resiliency of human beings, because we'll pay for stuff that we don't need. But that's something that you got to, because you're going to pay your bills, you're going to pay for your gas, you're going to go to work. Even if there's these, those Christmas account where people put X number of dollars, so they have X number of dollars for Christmas. Man, turn that into a vacation account. Put X number of dollars away. It's vitally important that you get away at least once a year for 7 to 10 days. And like Gerald said, a staycation, whatever it is, you cannot keep doing the same stuff you're doing, because we're all under pressure.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
The world is squeezing us. We're all under pressure. The best thing you could do for yourself, get away at least once a year. So, I mean, the choice is yours. So don't get stuck in the crossroad of your life. Doing nothing, it's not acceptable.
Yeah. So definitely do that. Find a way to vacate, to give yourself a mind a break, because that vacation is going to allow you to do a reset.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to allow you to do a reset, and also allow you to charge yourself up a little bit there, because we all need a break. So, I mean, just do the things that's necessary that help you to feel better, because the better you feel, the better experience that you're going to have. So, and this life is all about the experience.
Absolutely.
And making those decisions, better outcomes, better experience. So
yeah, no doubt.
Continue to do that.
As much as I like hanging out with this guy, a couple weeks a year, I want to see him.
Want to vacate the premises away from doing any type of working or planning. I understand that. Yeah, man. Because we definitely on the grind. But yeah. I do want to close out with I just come across a really nice quote.
Let's go.
Henry David Thoreau.
Okay.
And he said, a lot of times it's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see. And a lot of times, I'll say that again, it's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see. So a lot of times when you're looking at yourself, it's not necessarily that you're looking at you that really matters. It's what do you see?
Bro, I like that, man.
Not what anybody else sees. What do you see?
I like that.
And yes, sir. And what you see is what's real.
It's the most important.
And that's what you gravitate towards, because that's all that matters. What do you see?
Yeah.
And what you see is what matters. And then what you see in you, you see greatness in you. And then once you see that greatness in you, then you build from that. You build from that.
Love that, man.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yes. So yeah, he's got some good quotes. So check out Henry David Thoreau.
I think we might start doing that on our closeouts, man.
Yeah.
Coming up with different quotes. I think that would be a good deal. So tell them where they can find us, man.
Definitely check us out on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, RNG at the Crossroad. Our website
RG the
is
Crossroads, right? RG.
yes, RG the Crossroad. That's correct. And then also check us out our website at rgthecrossroad.com. We're on Facebook, RNG at the Crossroad, and also on Instagram at RG at the Crossroad. So any of those platforms and any of those social media platforms, you can see us. We'll make announcements on Instagram to stay in touch with you also as well, and also on Facebook. So please feel free to join us. We're on this journey to make better decisions and have better outcomes so that we have a better experience in this life.
As well as bringing a community of people together with the understanding that the government ain't never going to fix it.
Oh man, yeah, no. You gotta, you could, that's a whole nother episode.
That's another episode.
That's another episode. Yeah. The
But
government
we're
ain't, they ain't gonna come, they're not gonna come rescue you. You're gonna have to rescue
know,
yourself.
right?
So yeah, that's true.
But
Yes,
we're on a journey to bring people together with resources, ideas, and different talents and whatnot that they will go back into the community.
Oh, absolutely. And we're gonna be bringing folks in front of you that have expertise in certain subjects, and to be able to highlight different techniques and things like that that can help us become better in this thing we call life.
Absolutely.
So thank you all again for tuning in with us. Have a good evening. And we will see you next week. All right. Everybody take care, and let's have some really great outcomes.
That's what's up.
Thank you.
My man.